What if I told you that the greatest risk in life is not to fail, but not to dare to try? In many cultures, there's this saying, failure is the stepping stone to success. It does sound like a cliche at first, but it reveals a deep truth: the fact that failure is a part of the journey to success and not an antagonist to it. Research has also shown that the people who live their lives avoiding failure are the ones who are more tormented by regret at the end. Why? Because they stuck themselves in a comfort zone, suppressed their potential out of fear of rejection, of losing what one had, of other people's judgment. The tragedy is that most people do not even recognize this self-inflicted constraint on their potential. They never pursue that dream, ask that girl or boy out, or take that risk. Fear whispers to them that the cost of trying is too high, as their dreams wither away. Let's break this down a bit. Imagine a young man named Jake who, at 24, finds himself caught in a rut. He has a dead-end job, pays his bills, and spends his nights scrolling aimlessly through social media. Deep inside, Jake is teeming with aspirations, a burning urge to create his own startup, a yearning to invest, even aspirations to further his education. Yet, each time he contemplates taking action, fears flood his mind. What if it all goes wrong? What if I embarrass myself? The result? Inaction. Jake also likes a fellow employee, Mia. Each time he sees her, his heart speeds up, but then fear overwhelms him. What if she says no? He thinks, passing up the opportunities, standing on the sidelines, and wishing for more. What is the most tragic? Jake exists, simply exists, in the human sense of the word, feeling unsatisfied but taking no risks to alleviate that feeling. He'd rather suffer the discomfort of unfulfilled dreams than perhaps fail. As a psychologist once said, the pain of regret far outweighs the pain of taking a chance. Failure may sting. For the most part, it's a fleeting wound. Regret festers indefinitely. A life full of regrets, watching others take on the challenge and savor the successes he longs for, that is what Jake's building. Then, one ordinary evening, something shifts. Jake finds a quote, "Failure is the cradle of success." This rings in his ears. Could it be that failure isn't the end, but part of the process? Intrigued, he gets deep into this philosophy and learns that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's fundamental to it. As Jake researches, he finds a culture of innovation that celebrates occasional failure, seeing it as an important step toward learning and growth. Every child learning to walk falls thousands of times. Only through those falls will they master the skill. This has been lost in today's society, which shames the acts of failure rather than encouraging resilience. That night, Jake is flooded with thoughts. Anger wells in him, not toward anybody else, but at himself for wasting so much precious time. He realizes now that fear isn't an enemy. The real opponent is his inactivity. He has watched those he admires persist through failures, gaining strength and wisdom along their journeys. A new day brings a different drive within Jake. He goes to the mirror, promises himself, "I won't let my choices be ruled by fear." And he takes one small, yet meaningful step. He asks Mia out for coffee. Heart racing, he reminds himself of his new mantra: failure is a lesson, not defeat. And when he finally musters the guts to do it, he's surprised by her warm acceptance. That coffee date shifts something in Jake. It wasn't about dating, but a lesson in courage. He learned the barriers he had seen before were often only a facade. Emboldened, he opens a small investment account, making select choices. Of course, setbacks happen, but he learns to adjust and grow. His first business idea isn't going to take off, but he gathers feedback, refines his approach, and keeps iterating. Let's get one thing straight. Embracing failure doesn't mean being careless. One really needs to go about the risk strategically. For those with responsibilities, taking cautious steps can prevent a catastrophic outcome. But for Jake, still young and unencumbered, he knows he can afford to explore. Fast forward to a year later, and Jake had changed. He was still working in retail, but by choice, not necessity. His business was taking root, slowly but surely. He was seeing Mia, and through life's ups and downs, they found their bond growing stronger. Jake now embraces challenges rather than letting fear daunt him, and with every step, he realizes that growth usually happens outside of that comfort zone. Reflecting on his journey, Jake realizes several important things: that failure is not permanent, but a chance to learn and get better. Regret is permanent and haunts those who never tried. That perfection is not on the first try. Everyone stumbles, but what counts is that they get back up. Fear will still be there, but the difference comes in how he decides to act on it. He has learned that most of those fears are unfounded. They exist only in one's mind. When put to test, Jake realizes the outcomes are hardly as disastrous as he envisioned. He learns that imperfection isn't something to hold anyone back, but part of the journey. Now, Jake thinks that failures build resilience. He knows that each failure makes him stronger and molds his path to success. While working at overcoming obstacles, his spirit is nourished not by fear, but by determination. This philosophy about failure really captures a deeper truth, namely, your mistakes don't make you less worthy, they make you more worthy. Reflecting on personal growth, Jake knows that he has transformed not just in actions, but in mindset. As he looks ahead, Jake realizes how much it means to seize moments and pursue dreams. The greatest regret would have been to let fear hold him back from truly living. So, as you ponder your life's journey, ask yourself, what opportunities are you missing out on due to fear? Know this: failure may be temporary, but regrets can last a lifetime. Stand at the edge of your comfort zone and take that leap. Embrace the potential for growth and excitement that comes from trying. Thank you for being here today. If this resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe and be a part of this journey. What will you attempt today that you've been afraid to do? Remember, live boldly, take action, and don't shy away from the beautiful uncertainty life offers. Your story awaits to be written.